Patty, the Leather Lady. We have been gone for a minute, but we are back. So I had a request for a video on burnishing. So there is so many ways to do burnishing. Burnishing, what is that? Okay, so burnishing is about your edging of your leather projects to make them nice and smooth, sort of a glassy look, very professional added on to that kind of a thing. So we're going to talk a little bit about burnishing today. Now, this is the Leather Lady way. So if you have another way of burnishing or a product that you use, please go right ahead and share that in the comments, because I always love to hear other people's feedback. There's always learning. Trust me, always learning. So let's get started. So burnishing is, you can have a burnishing tool. There's several kinds of burnishing tools. I'm going to show you what you need, and then I'm going to burnish, and then give you options and things like that. And then we'll go ahead and burnish. All right. So there is a couple of different things you're going to want to do first. First, what you'll want to do is when you look at the edge of your product now, some of you might be doing wallets, you might be doing things that are 3-ounce leather, that are maybe 4 or 5 ounce leather. I do a lot of saddle work, or I do a lot of knife sheaths, axe covers. But it's usually 5 ounces on up. So if you have something that you want to share, please do. But on your wallets, you're going to want to sandpaper a little bit to get that nice smooth. And how do you want to do that? Depends on the grit and the ounce of the leather that you're going to be using. So you want to use a really fine grit if you're using sandpaper. You want to use maybe, I don't know, you can get up 150 to 1,000. So you got to sort of play with it. And what I'd suggest is don't play with it and practice on it on the actual product. If you're selling something or making something for somebody, take a piece of the scrap leather that you have from that item that you're making and go over and play with your sandpapers and get that nice smooth edge down, okay? And that's going to help your burnishing a lot. Now, what do you use? Okay, so you can get, sandpaper at your hardware store. You can get it in little papers. You can get it in big sheets. I take it and sometimes I just rip it off. So you want to do that. If you have a Dremel, you can get a Dremel bit with different sandpaper on it. This one here is for my dog's nails, so it's a little bit coarser and it actually needs to be changed out. But you could do that. So that's one of the first thing you want to do. And even Amazon probably has sandpaper for you, okay? So then you're going to want to get some type of product. So when you're going to do burnishing, there's many ways. Back in the day, and I'm not going to tell you how old I am, but back in the day when I was a teenager in high school and we learned all this, we used beeswax. Okay, you can get just a little square piece of beeswax. We may sell it on our website, not sure, but go on and Google it on Amazon, Tandy, whatever. And you can get a little beeswax, and you can see mine definitely gets used. I don't use it as much because this is 2025 when I'm filming this, and there's so many better products. But if you want a really thick, nice, solid shine on it, that's going to last for a very long time, and it is waterproofing sort of kind of thing on your edges, you can do that. But I'm going to show you a trick to that, because I remember back in the day when my teacher, I would say, is this good enough? He was like, nope, put more, keep going. And it takes a lot of elbow grease. Okay, it takes a lot of elbow grease. You're going to want to, you could also use water. It's not the best because it's just if you want to smooth that edge down, you put water on it, because we use water a lot for our molding. So you can do that on the edge if you're, trying to save pennies or whatever. It's not going to look as good as if you were going to use beeswax, because there's no solid finish to it, and it doesn't water repel it or waterproof the edging. What I use here at the shop, and I fell in love with it. Now you got to remember, I lived in Japan for years, but this is a company that just was sold recently, and you couldn't get it for a while. But I use Tokonole, and I don't know how you pronounce it in English. I would think that Americans probably say, I don't know. I speak Japanese, so I'm like, I don't know how they would pronounce that in English. So I use this a lot. You can thin it down. You don't have to do it as thick. This goes a long, long, long way. And this, I think right now is somewhere around $17, $18, somewhere around that. So it goes a very, very long way. And the way that I apply it is with a refillable pen. So I use this for my refillable pen. I use it for my Tokonole. I use it for some of my finishes on the edges. I use these pens a lot now. Never used them before, and then somebody showed me them, and I'm like, wow, it's made my world of a difference. Okay, and then what you need, and I'm gonna show you this here in a second, is you need a burnisher. So, or a burnishing tool or edging tool or whatever. And it looks a little weird, but the thing is with this, you have different sizes of thickness of leather that you can do, all right? This is just a little hand tool, and you're just gonna burnish the snot out of it, all right? Okay, and then the other tool that you can use, and I'm just sort of showing you this here, is this is a burnishing, I've got my fan there, sorry about that. This is actually a burnishing machine. So you have a burnisher and then you have a sander. Now, for you guys that love tools just like me, you don't need to buy this fancy master tool. This is way too expensive. You can get one from like Harbor Freight, this piece here with the ends, and you can put your own on. You can either, somebody may make these for you or whatever, but you can also get the sanding tubes to put on there. So this is if you go on Weaver, you'll see it. It's way too expensive. I got it when a company was closing their manufacturing part out, and that's the only reason why I have it. Otherwise, I wouldn't be buying it. So that is where that is. So what we're gonna do next is I'm gonna show you some techniques, and then we will go from there. Okay, so we're gonna get started. So I'm just gonna give a couple pieces of scraps here. So this is a scrap and this is a scrap here. So what I did is, here's some beeswax, the Tokonole, I mark them so that I know which one I've got. And I've got some sandpaper. So what I did is I just took this scrap here. Is it this one? Yeah. So I have a really fine grit. This one here is 150. So if you can see, I took it and I sanded it a little bit. And yes, there is a grain to it, but all you want to do is just get some of this loose off of there so that you get a nice finish. Now, if you look at that, how we sort of sanded that a little bit, and then you look at that, there's a big difference. Okay, very big difference. So it's up to you whether you want to sand or not. You know, what look are you trying to get, and how professional? If you're trying to do these fine bags and things like that, you know, I've seen people make bags that are just as good as Coach and all those other ones. But depends on what you're looking for, the look that you're looking for. But this is 150. That's where you would start out at, and then maybe get a package that goes up to, you know, 500 or 600 or whatever. So there, I'm going to show you this here. So if you were going to place, you can also use like a paintbrush. You can use a paintbrush to put it on. You can use, again, the thing. You can use, I don't like using a dauber. You can use them, but the problem is you're going to get that stuff on both sides. So if you're trying to keep this side clean, it's going to get on both sides. So try to get something really, really fine to put that on. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use this as an example. So if I'm putting the Tokonole on, you're just going to take it and put it down the edge. Now, and see how nice that is? You don't get much anywhere other than on the edge. And I get mine pretty wet. Okay. Now, if I wanted to do that and do it on this side, yes, I could do that too. And that's all you're doing. Okay. You're just putting that on, letting it soak in for a minute. Okay, letting it soak in. And it will give it a little bit of a darker color because it's wet. So this one here, I didn't even do the edges on this one here. I mean, I didn't sand it, but it's on there. So you're gonna take your burnisher and you're just gonna find the width that is best for you, and you can see there. You can go back and you can go over here. Maybe I want an edge here, this like here, but start out with this here. All right. And what you're looking for, now if this is dyed, you could probably see it a lot better. I don't have anything that's dyed right at the moment that I could use it for. But if you look at this, oh, I'm hoping I can get a close up. This is really nice. This is shiny, glossy, and it's solid. If you look down here, it's not solid. So it's glossy over on this side, but over here, there's like some breaking points, so it's not solid. So what am I gonna do? I'm gonna put some more toconole on there. Gently, because if I don't wanna get it on this side, you gotta be really careful. That's why I'm saying sometimes you'll have to line your product or dye the bottom side of your product or whatever. But you can do that. Do you need to wait for the toconole to dry before you do this? No, I don't. And there you go. You've got a nice solid. I hope you can see that. I'm going to just try to get some shine in there so that you can see that. And that's nice and solid. Okay. Now, that's the toconole. And it will give you, it depends on how much you sand, at how smooth and shiny this is going to be. Okay. So what we're going to do now is we're going to leave this here. And we're not going to sand it because maybe somebody's saying, well, I don't want to sand it. That's fine. Don't sand it. We're going to use the beeswax. Okay. Here's the trick with the beeswax. Okay. Most of the time you'll get a brick and it'll be straight. Okay. This was a brick at one point, but you'll put it on. You'll put it on here and you put a lot on. And here's why. This is where I'd get so frustrated with my teachers. And you probably would get frustrated with me in a class because I don't like shoddy work. So you put the effort into it or don't do it. So you're gonna take your burnisher and you're gonna do the same thing. And what you're doing is creating a heat to get that wax to melt, okay? I should have did it bad. Let me show you. Sorry, let me just do a little bit here. Okay, so let me finish this out here. I probably didn't get any on the edge, which is gonna be good. Oh, there we go. That's what I wanted to show you. So we're not sanding this, remember? Okay, perfect. Well, not perfect, that's the whole key. Okay, so if you look here, we're getting that nice smooth look like we did with the toconole, right? But if you look at the end, the pores, I'm hoping the close-up shows this, but in the center, you see a bunch of pores where the beeswax didn't get into. Same here, it looks sort of white, and either I didn't burnish it hard enough, fast enough to get that heat in there. Nope, there's not enough beeswax. So you get little holy raw looks in here? No, absolutely not. If you were in my class, that would be keep doing it, okay? And if I wanted to do water, say I'm on a budget and I don't have any, I'm not going to worry about the dyes on here or the oil on here. I'm just giving you an example. Let's see here. Let's do this side. So you're putting water on here, you're getting it wet. Now, remember guys, when you do water does leave marks, okay? So if you're gonna do water, which is probably the last resort I would do, and I would rather use a product, but you know, if that's what they want, that's what they want. All right. So, but with the water, here's the thing. You saw me use a water bottle. There's a reason being. If you are burnishing something light with this and you're using water, use distilled water, guys. Use distilled water. And the reason being is if you use sink water, if you use tap water, hose water, whatever, and you've got a light color like this, it's going to leave little black dots all over the place. And those little black dots you cannot get out. Those are mineral deposits. And yeah, so my students never use sink water. I don't care what it is. It's you use bottled water, especially when it's light. If it's black or dark, it doesn't matter. You're not going to see those little specks or spots. But again, same technique. And that's all we're going to do is we're going to burnish. And again, this is going to give you a different look because there's no product, there's no beeswax to pull and fill those pores in, okay? So there's that there, okay? The other thing is if we take that water, or we're going to sand it, we're going to sand it, show you what it looks like sanded. We're going to get some water. I'm going to get it all over, which is fine. I make a mess anyway. Okay, so we sanded that area. We're going to put some water on it. Okay. Now, somebody probably saying, oh my God, she's got all that dye on that burnisher. Yeah, you can clean these. You can clean them, but you don't see any color going off because it's so into the wood. It's so used. It's it's unreal. So again, you're just going to burnish. Maybe you want to use this one to start to flatten it, but then you're going to leave edges. So try to get the one that works the thickness best for you. All right. So now you've got it sort of sanded here, but do you see what it's doing? You're getting a smoother edge here, but you're not closing up the pores like you are with your toconole or your beeswax. Okay, so again, this would be a last resort. You can do it, last resort that you'd want to do, but it does give it a little bit smoother look, kind of a thing. But my preference, toconole. All right. But see, you got to be careful if you're doing light leather and you're not, any product that's going to get on your light leather is going to give you a problem. So, but that's the simplest thing is burnishing. Okay. And I would love your comments, love your feedback. Put on the comments what you use, what techniques you use. Again, this is a learning channel. This is a training channel. So this is really definitely for anybody who wants to learn. Just be kind in your comments to help people. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video and I hope it was educational for you. Please don't forget to go to the leatherladyllc.com for your leather craft supplies, DIY kits. Great way to learn is buy a DIY kit and get started on that. Or if you're looking for saddle parts or anything to do with saddles, please contact us because we manufacture saddle parts now. That's why we're getting a little bit busier. And then we also have a new YouTube channel, and then you do the @ saddle repair and restoration. But we still are going to keep the Leather Lady LLC on YouTube, but that's for the person who just wants to really learn about saddle repairs, restoration, and that kind of thing. Have a great day, and we'll see you on the next video.